Harbors teach people how to disappear. Cargo changes hands. Names change. Records vanish. And somewhere inside all that movement, people convince themselves the ocean washes everything clean. It doesn't. Some things stay buried beneath the surface forever. Victim number 6 was found near Dock 14 at Mercer Harbor. Richard Pike, shipping executive, public donor, private negotiator for men dangerous enough to avoid paperwork. At least that's what rumors said. The body was positioned between cargo containers facing the water. No visible panic. No signs of struggle. Just the same precision we'd seen before. By then, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Someone wasn't simply killing people. They were choosing them. Elena barely slept anymore. I could see it in the way she moved. Too fast one moment, too slow the next. She lived inside the case now. So did I. But with Elena, it felt personal somehow. Most dock workers described Richard Pike carefully, like people choosing words that wouldn't get them hurt later. Corruption, illegal cargo, worker intimidation. A man protected by money and silence. Same story, different victim. That's where we met Noah Reyes, former dock supervisor, 48. Burn scars across one side of his neck. 3 years earlier, his younger brother died during a container collapse tied to Pike's company. The case disappeared within weeks. No charges, no accountability, just signatures. At first, Noah looked exactly like what we expected. Another broken man failed by the system. Another grieving brother. But investigations change shape the deeper you dig. And eventually, people stop looking like victims. Elena spent nearly 14 straight hours reviewing shipping records and employee complaints. No breaks, no food, barely any water. At one point, she snapped at a forensic analyst for contaminating paperwork. That wasn't like her. She apologized immediately afterward, but I could tell she was reaching her limit. She collapsed just after midnight. Exhaustion, dehydration, stress. The doctors said her body finally forced her to stop. I drove her to St. Jude's myself. Even then, she kept asking about evidence, about timelines, about the next victim. After leaving the hospital, I went back through Noah Reyes's financial records alone. That's when the story changed. Noah hadn't only lost people because of Richard Pike. He'd helped Pike too. False safety reports, witness intimidation, bribed inspections. He spent years protecting the same system that eventually destroyed his brother. Guilt changes people. Sometimes it turns them honest. Sometimes it just makes them quieter. At 3:17 in the morning, dispatch called. Noah Reyes was dead. Possible suicide. By then, I was starting to hate those two words. When I arrived at his apartment, the television was still on. Muted. Old black and white movie flickering against the walls. No forced entry. No obvious struggle. But something felt wrong immediately. Not because of what I saw, because of what I didn't. Noah Reyes smoked heavily. Everyone at the harbor confirmed it. But the ashtray beside his body was completely clean. Freshly emptied. Like somebody erased evidence after sitting there with him. That tiny detail stayed with me longer than it should have, because crime scenes speak through absence too. And suddenly, the room felt occupied, like somebody had only just left. Around dawn, I went back to check on Elena, partly because I was worried, partly because after Noah's death, I didn't want anyone connected to the case alone. When I entered her room, the bed was empty. IV line hanging loose beside the sheets, heart monitor still running, and sitting on the bedside table was her case notebook, open. One page filled entirely with victim names, every single one underlined repeatedly, hard enough to tear through the paper. For a second, I just stood there staring at it, uneasy, like I'd interrupted something private. Then Elena stepped back into the room from the balcony outside, Hospital blanket around her shoulders, coffee in her hand. She looked surprised to see me. And just like that, the feeling passed. Or at least I told myself it did. Looking back now, I think part of me already sensed something shifting. Not truth, just instinct. The kind detectives ignore when the answer feels impossible.